Can you hear me? Oh, okay, you can now. Hi, hello. Good morning. Everybody awake? I am just about. So bear with me if I slur or something. So today we want to talk about the Common Payments API. So we heard Lois's presentation yesterday on the Joomla platform. And I think payments was one of the things discussed as why it should be a library in the platform and how we should stop duplicating the code. So luckily, we have something ready for that, and we will be looking at contributing it back to the platform. So if any one of you wants to integrate payments into your extensions, this is definitely something you have to watch. So let's get started. So something about me. I'm Parth Lawate. I work at Tech Joomla and TechD Web Solutions back in India. And I do a lot of that stuff. You know, I am a cook, I'm a bookworm, I trek, I hike, and I also do a lot of Joomla stuff. So that's me. That's our company, Tech Joomla. We'll do a lot of extensions like social ads, JTicketing, broadcast, invitex, a lot of stuff like that. Then that's our parent company, TechD Web Solutions. We are into services and application development for Joomla, of course, Android, iOS, Magento, stuff like that. So I'm going to skip over all this very fast. All right, so let's get started. So payments. So that's the point. Let's innovate and not replicate code. Let's look at payments are not something, not rocket science. It's very easy to, I mean, everybody does that. There's probably, as Lewis said yesterday, thousands of implementations of PayPal and Authorize.net and whatnot. But we can easily share that code. We can easily concentrate on our core extensions rather than concentrating on stuff like payment gateways. So why a common API? First of all, there's lots of applications that use online payments. There are shops, there are donation systems, event ticketing systems, advertising, membership systems, subscriptions, basic payment forms, and whatnot. And here are some examples as to who all uses payments. There's Virtumart, Red Shop, Hika Shop, Akiba subscriptions. A lot of these developers are here today. So it'll be great if we can join hands and get everything together and stop duplicating. So yeah, so as there are lots of application for payment gateways, there's lots of payment gateways too. There's hundreds and thousands of them out there. So do you want to integrate them all by yourself? Do you really want to get into that? It will be great if we can join hands and do that together and not spend a lot of time on developing different payment gateways. So payment gateways are complex. They need extensive testing because it's payments after all. You can't afford to go wrong there. It's extremely time consuming, and after a while, believe me, it starts getting really boring to do the same thing over and over again. So, and yeah, that's just the tip of the iceberg. If you have ever integrated any kind of payment gateway system, these are just, it's just the tip of the iceberg. It can really get complex, it can really get boring, and yeah, there's a lot of problems there. So here are the advantages. We are doing a lot of code reuse once we start doing common payment gateways. It will minimize testing. Once a payment gateway has been tested with one application, ideally it will work with all other applications. So yeah, one payment plugin works everywhere. It's scalable. You can increase any number of payment plugins. It will also foster a lot of new business. People can still keep developing payment plugins as a service business and release it back to the community. It'll be good if they do. And it will work with not just one application, but hundreds of applications out there. It's also flexible. Currently, it already supports 10 plus payment gateways. We already have 10 payments gateways released and ready for you to use. There is an easy API to add more. And if you are an extension developer or if you want to add payments in your applications, it's just 3 simple steps to get payments working. And we have been able to do it in 3 hours flat for any kind of an application. So it makes it very, very easy. And finally, it's proven. We already have 4 extensions out there already using it. It's been in production for almost a year now. So it's proven it works. So these are the supported payment gateways right now. We have PayPal, PayPal Pro, Authorize.net, 2Checkout, LinkPoint, PayU, CC Avenue, Jom Social Points, Alpha User Points, Pay by Purchase Order, Pay by Check, HDFC. There are plenty more coming soon. We are almost adding 1 or 2 every month as and when we get new requests. So yeah, and it's super quick to integrate. So this is going to be a little bit of a developer, short developer 3 slides. So you'll just know how to integrate it, and you'll see how easy it is. So yeah, that's 3 steps to payments. So these are 3 steps. First, construct the gateway list, render the payment form, whether it's an on-site form or an off-site form. So for example, PayPal is an off-site payment gateway. The payment doesn't actually happen on your site. All the payment details, credit card details are filled on PayPal's site. Whereas if you look at authorize.net, you take all the payment information, credit card information on your site. So we are able to support both kind of payment gateways. And finally, there is the on process trigger in the notify URL. So typically the way it works is that the person fills out the payment form on your site, the request goes to the payment gateway for authorization, and then the payment gateway returns back its result on a certain URL. That's the notify URL. That's where you have to write your code to decide what to do with that request. So we have a standard translation plugin which translates the response of the payment gateway into a standardized response. So for example, PayPal, I think, calls a completed payment as confirmed, whereas authorize.net calls it completed. So we just translate that into a simple C, and you just have to work on that simple C. So you don't need to worry about what the payment gateway calls what. We take care of that. So let's go a little bit in detail. So first method, list the gateway options. So wherever you want to show the list of payment gateways available, you simply have to trigger this payment method, which is on TP get info, and pass it the config. So the config is that typically you might have 3 or 4 payment extensions using payments on your site. So you might want to decide that, hey, let's say we have Virtumart, I want to use PayPal with Virtumart, and let's say I have social ads, and I want to use authorize.net with social ads. So I can decide on an extension level which payment plugins I want to allow for that extension. So that config is simply an array of things that you want to allow for the extension. And this can be simply something in your configuration in the extension. Basically, this returns an array of plugins that are available, and you can return this array. You can construct it into a, a radio list, or you can construct it into a drop-down list. You can display it as you want. We'll just give you a simple array, and you can just display it as required. So this is the example code to trigger it. You just initiate the plugin triggers, and then you just trigger it and pass it the config. And what you will get in $gateways, as I said, is an array which you can use. You can use JHTML, whatever, to render it in any way you want. So once you've done that, now you've shown the payment list to the end user. Now he's going to select it and click on submit. So once he clicks on submit, you need to take him to the payment gateway. So that's basically displaying the form. So once he clicks on submit, you can either use Ajax to render the form, or you can take him to a new page and render the form there. So for rendering the form, again, all you need to do is 3 lines of code. Just trigger the method that we have for rendering the form. The form rendering is taken care of by the plugin. So this is the trigger. There is onTP get HTML, and you have to pass it some variables. So these are the variables that will tell the payment plugin or tell the payment gateway system what kind of order it is, what is the amount, and stuff like that. So I'll tell you what these variables are. So again, as I said, this form that you see there, this is purely a representation. So in case of PayPal, it might be something as simple as a PayPal button getting rendered there. In case of authorize.net, it's a bigger form. So every payment gateway has some restrictions. Somebody might say these fields are compulsory. Somebody might say those fields are compulsory. So all that is taken care of in the plugin. So you just render the form, and that's about it. So these are the variables. This is just a basic list that almost all payment gateways need. You can extend this to pass it whatever variables you need. So first of all, you need a unique order ID. And a very good example that we saw here was that in one case, at one client site, they were using quick to cart and social ads. And we are using different order tables for both extensions. So this order ID needs to be unique. So since there were 2 different order tables, we were getting the same order IDs in both. So we ended up solving that by just giving a prefix to the order IDs. So you just need to take care when you implement this. The order IDs need to be unique. So then you need the user first name. The user ID is not compulsory. Then the email, the item name that you're selling, the return URL. So the return URL is where the person is going to come back after a successful transaction. The cancel URL is where the person is going to come back after a failed transaction. And finally, the notify URL. This is what is important. This is where the payment gateway is going to send back its response. So if you look at it, as an extension, I can define the return, cancel, and notify URL. So social ads has its own sets of URLs. The Virtumart will have its own set of URLs. So the same plugin is being used by different extensions in their own experience. And again, the plugins have their own layout files. You can override them if you want. It's very scalable. It has its own language file. It can be translated. There's no problem there. And finally, we have the currency code and the total amount. So in this, you can pass whatever variables you want. It's not just restricted to this. And these are the basic ones that you need at least. Finally, on the notify URL, let's say you are developing an extension that is accepting donations. Let's say you have a notify URL. So what you need to do is that this is the place where the payment gateway will come back and say that, hey, this payment is confirmed. So in every payment plugin, we have a set of variables that is defined on the top in the header that basically decides what is the standard variable names. And we have a translation function in there which will translate the response to a standard response. And you will only get those 10 or 12 standard sets of responses. And you only have to write the code, your cases based on those responses. That's it. So just trigger that plugin trigger there. In $data status, you will have the translated status. Based on that, write your post-processing code, and that's it. It's done. So this is just a small schematic for you to understand. So if you look at it, on tp-get-html is rendering the form. You're passing it the variables. In case of PayPal, you're going to PayPal, and PayPal is sending you back to the notify URL. In case it is something like authorize.net, we have a method inside on TP process payment, which is the thing that is there in the notify URL. So what we do is that we call authorize.net via curl, and it is handled, the user doesn't see this. So it's happening on your site. And finally, the translate response is the critical function, which is giving you the standard response. And finally, you just do the post-processing after that trigger. So right now, as I said, we are already using this. We have used this in JTicketing, JGive, our donations product, social ads, the advertising product that we have, and Quick to Cart, which is an e-commerce extension that's coming out. And it's also being used in a few service projects. So I think I have to hurry up, right? Yeah, I'll hurry up. So you can get this code. We have released these plugins on GitHub. So you can just go to github.com/techjoomla/joomla-payments. You can get these plugins. That's all that you need, actually. There is no additional library that is needed. We are going to merge it into the Joomla platform eventually. But you can use this today. It's ready. We are releasing all the plugins on GitHub as open source, free for all to use. And you can just get started on that. OK, so next steps, we are merging it on the platform as a library. I've talked to Liz about it. 2 minutes? No. OK, 30 seconds. I'll just finish the slides. So what else do we have to share? Similarly, we have social API plugins that we have built. We are using it in 3 of our extensions. Very similar to this, 3 or 4 steps to integrate it into your own extensions. That also potentially will add to the platform. Then we have REST APIs that we're looking at pushing into the platform. And that's about it. Thank you.
So if you have questions, we have the whole day to grab him and ask questions. So next one. Okay. Yeah, good. I hope you have all slept well. Had a great evening yesterday? Yes? Enough beer? Okay. Good. Oh, very good.
Thanks, Paul. Is it okay?
Is it muted or it must be green?
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you for everything.
You're welcome.
Good morning, all of you. My name is Yannick Gaultier. I traveled from France to talk to you this morning. Thank you for listening. More and more people coming. As a bit of background, usually when I speak at Joomla events, I'm usually talking about SEO. I'm the author of SH447, but this morning, I'd like to talk to you about a new extension, or an extension that was released during the spring of this year, so it's been around for a bit. It's a new topic for me, but one that I've been interested in for a very long time, and it's about facilitating doing Joomla multilingual sites. So as most of you probably know, since the beginning of last year, Joomla 1.6 came with a new feature, which is multilingual, and that sort of maybe flew a little bit under the radar. Not very many people actually use it, I believe. And one of the reasons is that it's extremely powerful, but there is maybe a bit of software missing that helps you properly manage your translation. So the extension I'm going to talk to you today about is Josetta, and that's a translation manager for Joomla multilingual native system. Okay, so let's get started. I don't want Robert to jump at me anytime soon, so I'll be very quick. That's going to be a very quick tour, but obviously if you want to talk to me later today or to Victor Drover, who is here, I didn't ask you to stand up.
Nobody knows.
Yeah. Okay. So he stands up, but doesn't really know what he's talking about. So rather, come to me and ask questions. So that's it. What does Josetta do? Josetta helps you manage translation. It's not, I mean, I'm going to say the word, it's not anything like Joomfish. So if you've been waiting for Joomfish, first Joomfish has not appeared yet for Joomla 1.6 plus. Josetta is basically a data entry tool. It helps you manage translations. So it just sits on top of Joomla native multilingual systems, and is something that just helps entering and managing translations. You can basically remove it after translating things. You can basically remove Josetta, and your site will work the same. There are advantages attached to that, and I will summarize them later today. It's meant to be simple. It's meant to be simple for possibly non-Joomla users. Typically, translators may or may not be Joomla users. They may not be familiar with Joomla backend, so we want it to work around that. And obviously, time is money, so we want to be extremely productive when we do translation. That helps. Using Josetta will improve that. How does it work? If it has to be simple, then the extension itself has to be simple. Basically, Josetta has two screens. One is the list of items that are available on your site for translations, and the other one that we'll see later is the actual translation screens. So the workflow is pretty simple. You access the main translation screen, which lists items. You click on one of them, and you can translate. Currently, the items that can be translated are all Joomla default standard content plus K2. It's all plugin based, so we're just open. You can very simply write a plugin that will allow any type of extensions to be translated through Josetta. Interestingly, this main screen can be accessed both from the front end and the back end quite easily, from anywhere in the back end, but also, and initially it was designed like that, from the front end. The point is, usually you're not going to want grant access to your website backend to external translators. That's the point. So, and basically you don't need that. So that's why it was designed that way. This screen here is going to give you an overview of the current status of your translation. You've got for each item here, you'll have a little flag that tells you there is currently a translation for that particular language. And if you hover over one of those lines, you'll see that the German translation is at 100%. It's been published or unpublished, whatever. So you got a one screen that gives you an overview of your translations. Just the details on how you would access that from the backend. Anywhere from the backend, we are here on the article manager. So you might create a new article. But anywhere from the backend, you would have this small module here, Josetta translation. When you click on it from anywhere, you'll just have a pop-up that comes in and shows the translation screen. So basically from there, you can translate. It means if you're on the article manager or the com contacts from com web links, anywhere, you just do new web links in the original source language and then click on that link here, and up comes the pop-ups that allows you translating. That's for, obviously, administrators, but regular translators will do that from the front end. It would have a dedicated menu to access the screen. So when you click on an item, what do you get? You get this. You get a tabbed interface where you got one tab for each language that's available on your website. And then you get a set of fields that are related to whatever you're translated. This is the translation screen from the most common item type, which is a Joomla article. The 2 or 3 things you want to notice on that. First, you don't really see that here, but there's only a very limited number of fields that are available for translations. They are selected. Those are really the items that a translator can have access to. So, for instance, there's more later, so I'll show you that. The second item that you might want to take care of or pay attention to is a suggest button. So if you set it up that way, this will automatically fetch a translation for the given field and query. Currently that's Bing doing it. And it will also therefore propose automatically a translation. You can see here it's especially interesting for HTML content, because just clicking that suggest button, I don't speak German, so I don't know if that's just crap or not. This is a sample I did yesterday, so it's really raw out of Bing output, but the point here is that we have found that it's extremely much more productive to just have an automatic translation being done as the basis and then fix that, rather than trying to basically type everything in. So it's extremely productive. Maybe German speakers can tell me later on whether this is just good or not. But it's all, you keep the HTML formatting and all of that, so it's pretty efficient. I think I have another example here, which is a translation of the latest news modules, an instance of the latest news modules. You can see the point here is to see that you can only have available translation for translations are only the title, category, and then the module, the menu assignment. So basically the point is that translators cannot break anything. You don't have access. They don't have access to things like this is the latest news. So for instance, how many news do you want to show in that particular module? That's for the admin. So that's not for the translators. Obviously, if you're not happy with the selection of fields I made, you can fiddle with the XML file that defines that and show more field. But I would advise against that. Now, what else? We've got a very simple backend that shows a recent action logs of whatever happened recently, who translated what, and a few basic statistics on the translation statistics that have been done. That's basically it for Josetta itself. There's one more thing, which is Joomfish auto import, because many people have an issue where they have an existing 1.5 site and they've been holding on porting that to 1.6 because the translations they have made, maybe a large number of articles, are trapped into Joomfish tables, and there's basically no way to take that out. So what I've done is another extension that you can install on your 1.5 site, export from there the site, that is menu items, articles, categories, sections, all of that, plus the associated translations. And then you get to your new site, to your 2.5 site, and upload that. Well, we don't see it here, but there's an import button. You just click on that button, select the zip file that was produced from the export, and everything is imported. It's worth mentioning that all the links in the menu items, the links inside the articles pointing to another article or to categories, they're all fixed up on the fly because the categories IDs can change and all of that. So they're all fixed up on the fly while being imported. And also because I made lots of mistakes doing that, when you import a bunch of data from your site, you can actually roll that back. So you import, there's some problem somewhere, you press another button, and that removes everything that was imported, just in case. And that's handy. Okay, just the last slide is to summarize advantages of having basically Josetta and a native multilingual system. Obviously, it's easier on the translator. You've got a clear view of what is the source language item and whether there is a translation, and you can access that translation very easily. There's a dedicated translation interface, something you don't have with native only. Third party means Joomfish, in case you wonder. You can see the original translation while translating, which is not the case with the Joomla native system. You can have, as I mentioned, a computer-assisted translation. An important point to me is that it's forward compatible. Because we're only creating Joomla standard content, it will be, I'm sure it will be, very easy to move that forward to CMS4. I hope so. Yeah, I didn't mention that, it seems obvious, but it's just regular Joomla content that we are creating. So if you're translating an item through Josetta, you can basically switch to the backend and use the regular Joomla features to make another change to that item. It's just the same thing. You're working on regular Joomla articles. There are also things that are associated with using the Joomla native system. It's faster. There are less queries to be done to display an item. It's just Joomla. You've got monitoring, so it's fairly easy to basically manage your translation. That's the whole point of using Josetta. And lastly, the Joomfish migration. That's pretty unique. It's also worth mentioning that the Joomfish migration actually from 1.5 to 2.5 actually works even if you don't have Joomfish and even if you don't have translation. So it's sort of a migration software as well. That's it. If you want to know more about it, just go to anythingdigital.com/Josetta and get it. Yeah, do we have?
Thank you.
Do we have time?
Can we questions later?
Yeah, that's 13 minutes, so I have 2 minutes left.
Yeah, but you saved me a minute. I lost with Parth, so I thank you very much.
So you got 1 minute.
Okay. No, mine later. Go, TJ, Steve. No. Come.
He said no. Sorry. I would have to buy him a beer. Use that.
Oh, thank you.
You need two? Sure. There's so much to say. Title, it's Managing Multi-Site Updates with Admincredible. An incredible 15 minutes for you all.
Oh, well, good morning, guys. Before I start, I had an interesting message in my email this morning, one of those Facebook spam emails, and it was spamming me about birthdays, and, well, the guy who's organizing this conference, sitting down in the front, who's been introducing you, it's his birthday this week. Hey, it's
a German passport. 2511.
Yeah.
It's not today.
Yeah, it's this close enough.
Close enough, yeah.
Yeah. And so if you didn't do so last night, make sure you buy him a beer tonight. Cool. Cool. Well, good morning. My name is Steve, and this is TJ, and we're going to quickly introduce you to something we've been launching slowly over the last few weeks called Admincredible. And myself, I've been a Joomla developer for about 6 years now, building websites and building businesses, and TJ over here works for Joomla Shack and has done for many years. And, well, we've been running into a problem over the last few years. The more we're in this business and the more we build sites for people, the more we build sites for our family and our friends, we end up with dozens and dozens and dozens of sites. My friends bug me for Joomla sites. My dad bugs me for Joomla sites. And at least personally, even without going into my business, I have about 20 Joomla sites. And in my business, I have about 30. And TJ, you guys work with templates a lot, and you guys have some pretty serious problems with that too.
Yeah, we have roughly 60 demo sites for our templates that we manage, plus all of our other sites that we do. So yeah, there's this problem. Managing all of these sites and updating, keeping them updated. You can go in and manually update each site, yeah? But it's a real pain in the butt. So we wanted a solution that would allow us to do this much easier.
So we'd end up with 60 sites with TJ and Joomla Shack, or 60 sites with myself, and no matter how hard we tried, there'd always be something that was out of date. It got easier with Joomla 2.5, but the truth is, and please don't go browsing my server, I'm pretty sure that some of the sites on my server are out of date, and the same is true with just about all of us. We ran some stats before we got into this, and even WordPress, which has a reputation for having the easiest and quickest updates, even on their official WordPress.org site, their official stats show that only 33% of WordPress sites are running the latest version. 2/3 of WordPress sites are out of date. And we did the same thing with Drupal as well. And Drupal's a little harder to update, but you'd expect those guys might be a little more professional, perhaps a little more business-minded. Well, in this list, 7.15 was the latest version, and you literally have hundreds of thousands of websites which are out of date. It's pretty much a hacker's dream to find so many websites out of date. It was hard for us to find similar statistics for Joomla, but the ones we came across led us to believe that 2/3 of Joomla sites are probably out of date as well. Hopefully those numbers will go down with 2.5 and 3 and the ease of updating now, but as we saw with WordPress, no matter how easy you make it, people are still going to forget. They're going to be busy, they've got other things to do rather than update 60 sites. And so what we tried to do was scratch our own itch by building Admincredible. And what it is simply one single dashboard where you can enter all of your Joomla sites, and whether you're on your desktop or whether you've got your phone, you can just click an update button and 60 sites get updated within a few seconds for you. It's essentially one central dashboard to monitor and make sure all of your Joomla sites are running the latest version. It works with both Joomla 2.5 and Joomla 3 because it needs the automatic updater. And we've been focusing really, really hard on making it as easy to use as possible. It's basically a component in step 1 that you download and install into your Joomla site. Step 2, we ask that you authenticate it. You simply log into your Joomla site and prove that that really is your site and not someone else's. And then you're just about set up and ready to run. We found that people can do the adding of their site within a minute or so, even for the first time they're doing it. We focused on making it as easy to use as possible.
I've got one. So there's one thing that we did is provide a few different ways to manage the updates of your site. The main way is through the dashboard. When you first log in, this is a look at what you see. This has 5 sites added. There's a few different ways from the dashboard to update your sites. This update the whole lot, the red button, will update every site with the click of that one button. Joomla Core plus any extensions that work with Joomla's automatic update engine. You can also, per site, update the core, update all of the extensions, or update everything for that particular site. That's from the dashboard of Admincredible. And then you can go into each site as well, where you can view some basic information about your site, the version that's installed, what's available. You can go in and view all of your extensions that are installed, update each extension individually. And right now, we have updates. That's what we provide. We've got many plans to update more features, including notifications. You can be bugged by your phone every time there's an update if you want. Google Analytics, so that you can view information about all of your sites from this one dashboard. Uptime monitoring, security scans, managing backups, and much more. So who's behind? As Steve introduced himself, he's with OS Training. I'm TJ, and I work for Joomla Shack. I've been there for many years. And Eddie Tabush is the owner of Joomla Shack, and he's our other partner in this.
And that's us. We're going to be launching fully next week. And if you guys would like an invitation, feel free to come up and talk to us. Or if you're feeling shy, you can send an email to info@admincredible.com, and we'll get you set up and look for a special launch offer next week. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
And how much it costs?
Oh, well, there's going to be a special $100 for 100 sites for 1 year offer next week. So we're going to be launching in a way where we're aiming for the people who have 50, 60, 70, 80 sites, and we're going to try and provide something really valuable to you guys starting next week.
Okay, good. Okay. You're only sitting, or you're? Oh, okay. Good. Good. So that's Matias. He's talking about migrating Joomla 1.5 to 3 using RESTful. Okay. You already know him from Upgrade. That's not the the other side?
Over here? Is the little one there?
No. No, it's the wrong connector. Oh, is it this one? Oh, no, it's the right connector. It was wrong. No, you don't get a microphone.
Well, hello everybody. I am Matias. I am from Mars. And I will show two presentations, a migration from 1.5 to the next version 3.0. So let me check out this. It's bad. Okay. Well, I have the desktop presentation. I need to change that here.
That's fine.
Okay, thanks. Okay. We have a demo site, 1.5. So we want to do here is to install one plugin for RESTful migration that we should to migrate to 305. So we must install here the plugin. And then we must to go to configure it to set the secret key. So we must enable it and set a secret key. Okay, a secret key for here. I don't know. Beer is a good secret key. So in this side, we must to install a new site without sample data. So we have installed this site. Oops. And we have a site without any data. So here we must to install the component. And then go to configure it, options. The RESTful is the method that we will to use to migrate the site. So into the host name, we must to set the URL. Sorry, my English is very, very bad. Here, localhost. So into the username, we must to set the username, the admin username for this site, the 1.5 site. So this is admin. Here is Joomla 1.5, and the security key is, you know that. So, and then we push this, oops. And it is migrating all the items and the content, the component, everything using RESTful migration. So I need Rooney to explain a little more of this because my English is not good. But that is the example for migration.
Yeah, the issue is that when you want to migrate a website from 1.5 to 2.5 or 3.0, you want it to be simple and easy to do. Even some of your clients might want to do them themselves, and if it's so simple, then it's pretty darn good, right? Also, a lot of times you might not want to migrate in the same folders and the same installations, or do a subfolder like we did with the old upgrade. So we decided to go a new way and utilize the RESTfulness and use a new option for doing it through web services. So basically, you can install a Joomla 2.5 or 3.0 website on any host on the planet. And then you just install the plugin on the 1.5 side, as Matias just showed you. You set it up very simply. You go to a new website on any host, wherever it is, and you click migrate. And then using the RESTfulness, we use web services, and we pretty much start from the top, and we start migrating all of your elements from your website. Now, there are options to go in and ignore certain parts if you don't want to migrate those. But the entire main Upgrade Pro will be released early next week, and it's free for access as always. But building on that, we are offering 2 more things. We're doing third-party extension profiles that will have a small fee. We're also offering support subscriptions. So if anyone needs support doing it, they can actually sign up for a small support subscription for 30 days, or one of the big ones, and we'll help you migrate your stuff too. So, but that's pretty much it. And as Einstein once said, if you're not able to explain things simply, they're not good. So this is a pretty simple explanation because it's pretty damn good. So that's it.
Well, so if you need more information, you must to go to Recomponent site. So bye, and thank you very much.